Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Jay, also known as the Sims Addict. So today we are doing a speed build of a frat house in Brychester. Although you can't technically, I don't say you can't, there is no formal way to say that this is specifically a frat house. They did leave the customization tools pretty open in terms of your affiliation, male or female only for university housing, so you can essentially make a frat or a sorority. So yeah, that's what we're doing in Brychester today. Today we are making a frat house. So although this house doesn't technically fit in with the surrounding, when I looked up a lot of pictures of frat houses, they were almost all in this Tudor style, and I don't think it doesn't fit in with the surrounding. I used the Get Famous stone at the base of it, and then the top of it is that kind of Tudor stucco wooden wallpaper, I guess. I do change up the structure a bit here. I'm playing around with it. I thought it was a little bit too boxy on the top, so I put in this little, it's going to be inaccessible, little balcony type thing. Also, the wallpapers that I put on here from Get Together, the kind of Tudor stucco wallpapers, I forgot to go back and add some of the extra detail that you can do with those. So I do add those before I take the screenshots, so they will be in the screenshots at the end of the video, which also aren't going to be as cinematic as I have been doing my screenshots. They're just going to be stills because I didn't want to do a playthrough of the fraternity, because I'm going to be doing a cast pretty soon on those. I already have them made, but I have the video for that too. So yeah, and I really wanted to include those new windows from Discovery University, so I end up making the little stick out bits on the end 6 instead of 5. And yeah, this is, again, everything I looked up from like most stereotypical fraternities, which this is trying to be. It's like really nice, super old house, historic on the outside, and then you go in and it's like not the best taken care of. It's a little trashed. And it depends on the university or the fraternity and everything, but I kind of wanted to go with that kind of theme with this one. So here I am adding some of the Jungle Adventure trim pieces to the top of this, because for some reason they made those windows double wall height, but they don't go all the way to the top. So I shortened the columns and then made it look a little bit more built in. So yeah, with the floor plan, I tried to go a little bit more like closed off, not necessarily open, a little bit more traditional with like arches and the windows and everything. But in terms of the furnishing, they have like a big ping pong table in the living room and not the best furniture. So yeah, I think it turned out really nice. This isn't a very big lot, so I wasn't able to do a whole lot in the backyard, but I was able to put a bonfire, the really big bonfire set we have. I don't know what pack that came with, probably like Get Together or something, which as we get into the interior here, I also include some of the I guess they're like club banners from Get Together, which, by the way, if you want to get Discover University and don't have any other packs, I would highly recommend getting Get Together, because it lends itself very, very well to the gameplay aspect. And even with this build, you can see like the aesthetic of this game as well. But yeah, I would highly recommend getting that expansion. With this, I haven't moved the frat in here yet, but I'm going to have them make a club, because with the campus housing you can have an affiliation and they have to be in that organization or club from get together to be in the university housing. So the fraternity is going to be the club that occupies this. So yeah, you can see here I use like older wallpapers, stuff like that. I believe I carpeted the bedrooms upstairs, and then there's like wood downstairs. There are quite a few bathrooms. I think there's 4 altogether. And I did like a few of them have like double showers, and I tried to make it look pretty communal. So yeah. So I figured this is kind of be like the party type area, that really big room. So I put in a few. There's like a keg in there. There is like I said, the ping pong table. The only thing I didn't include in here because I wasn't sure. I mean, it's not in the restricted items, so I guess you could have, is a bar. But I figured they would probably hang out at the bar in Gibbs Hill anyways. Or I could probably go through and add in a bar, one of those like pop-up bars that came with Get Together. So here I'm adding one of the signs for the front of the building, and I chose that one because it looked the most like Greek letters to me. So over here we are putting in the furnishings of the building. I kind of jump around because I like see items that I want to include in different areas of the lot, so if that's annoying, I apologize. I did include a couple bikes. I figured maybe a couple of the Sims would bike from point A to point B, and having them kind of in like this fancy foyer was kind of funny to me. I did include a couple of more classical like paintings or pictures because I figured those would be like I included a bigger picture of that guy who came in Get Together in the main living room, and it's like this huge like massive ornate painting, and it's kind of funny seeing it like against all this like crappy furniture in this party place, because I figured maybe he like founded the fraternity or something. So yeah, I use these really cheap sorry, these really cheap kind of recolors from City Living for the furniture, because I didn't think that they would have necessarily very fancy furniture. I did include that book for the soccer because I thought maybe a few of them might be on the soccer team, but I didn't want that to be like the defining characteristic of this frat. And you can see I also use that new like pallet coffee table, which typically it's hard to fit the 2x2 coffee tables in any kind of living situation, but I made this room pretty big for the purpose of having the ping pong table and bigger, chunkier furniture like that. So yeah, so over here we're having this kind of like communal dining room type area, probably where they have like meetings or anything like that. People can study here. I included that bust of the statue, and it had kind of like a top hat on it. I thought that was kind of funny. There's some trophies in here. And for those of you who don't know, by the end of the week I'm going to try to have my first installment of my LP out. I'm going to be doing a Discover University LP with Cassandra Goth and Mary Sue Oldie, and they are going to be going to Brightchester University. So I am working on renovating most, if not all, of Brightchester and then Gibbs Hill as well. I haven't decided on whether or not I'm going to do anything for Foxbury yet. As of right now, probably not, but that could be subject to change, and in the coming videos I will let you guys know. So yeah, you can see I add these banners because I figured that would probably be the little like knight chess piece type statue is going to be the like signal of the group for the fraternity. So I wanted to incorporate that with the with all the Brightchester stuff. Looking back, I might change that though because it has red in it and Foxbury's red. So I don't know. I might change the coloring to see if there's one that kind of fits more in with the color scheme for Brightchester. I know the gardening one is green, but I don't really know if I want to do a gardening logo for them. So over here I'm working on the kitchen, and I really tried to make it look pretty grungy. There was a little area you could see that didn't have anything in it, and I put one of those stains on the floor from Strangerville, and I figured that is probably where the stove would have been, since you can't have stoves in university housing. So I thought that was kind of a cool touch. Like, this was at one point a nice house, and then the university took it over, and now it's a frat house, and so they had to take that out, and they probably just come in here and use the microwaves, and that's it. So yeah, and then over here I thought about doing another kind of living area, but I really wanted to incorporate a gym, and I didn't know if this house would suit like a basement, so I just put the gym over here. I didn't figure they would care where the furniture placement was placed. So put a TV, a little radio. There's not much to this area. It's just a few gym equipment. And yeah, there is, like I said, there is 4 bathrooms, and then I think 5 bedrooms, 3 of which have 2 single beds, and then 2 have 1 double bed. And I looked it up, and they said you can do a double bed in university housing, but they can claim them separately, so you can have the max of like 10 Sims living in this house, but since I already created the Sims that are specifically going to live here by themselves, there's going to be 7 Sims, I think. So the double beds are going to be kind of reserved for specific people. So yeah, I didn't go crazy with the like stylizing of each bedroom. I used a lot of these like cheaper beds that came with Discover University, and like kind of different swatches that were like for their specific bedroom. For the double beds, I used this cheaper one from City Living and this one, and then I think a base game in the other one. And yeah, so this kind of dark black color scheme double bedroom is kind of what I figured like the head guy, the like alpha of the fraternity. I figured this is his bedroom, so we did that really big painting of the dogs playing. Oh, what's that called? It's Don't Wake the Llama. It's like Sims's version of Mahjong. But yeah, I did include some university things in their bedrooms, like these little flags, and then I think I did a couple posters in a couple of the rooms. Yeah, like I did one in his. A few of the bathrooms you can access from the bedrooms, but some of them, like this one off of the hallway, and then the one downstairs, are just open to the public. I thought that was kind of more realistic. I used the doors and arches from Strangerville. I didn't limit myself in any of the packs, and I probably won't for the builds to come, because I wanted it to be a pretty immersive experience for like my LP, and having it be like the best that it could be, and as like detailed and as kind of like realistic as I like it to be. So that's kind of why I'm like renovating Gibbs Hill too. I am going to be doing the bar pretty soon, so look out for that. And then, so I did do a few like differences between some of the bathrooms, but for the most part they're pretty furnished the same. I might like do different sinks for different things. If it's like a double sink, I use the Parenthood one. If it's a single one, I did the one that had the like wood and it's kind of like jankily put together. So over here, this is another single bed bedroom, or a double bed single bedroom, And yeah, I figured I also tried to keep in mind that Brightchester is kind of have like their distinguished degrees are more like the arts and things like that, so I tried to include some desks and computers and easels and things like that, as well as the gym equipment for stereotypical bro stuff. Um, so yeah, we are doing one of the double bedrooms now, and now we're on to another one. And this kind of middle one is kind of like the sports. I figured those were definitely the people who were into like the sports on campus. I included some like of those kind of ribbons you get, these the jerseys, the signed jerseys, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So I will be posting this to the gallery with most everything that I put on there, and my origin or my gallery ID is ThornSims06. I will also have that listed in the description below. Go ahead and check out everything else that I'm posting. If you are somebody that has restrictions like different packs that you don't have, I do have a lot of base game builds on the gallery, so go ahead and check those out. And yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go too overboard with the dorms because after all they are, not the dorms but the rooms, because it is like university housing. It's not like anything crazy, even though Brightchester is kind of like a, in my opinion, a more like ritzy area. I don't figure they would like sink that much, or if all these guys would care too much about the like furnishing of this place. The only mini fridge that I did include in was this room right here, because there is a main fridge downstairs. But again, I kind of pictured these people to go to the Commons or go to the bar and eat. They're not necessarily like a stay at home and cook kind of thing, which is what I think The Sims was going for by disallowing stoves and that in the university housing. I did try to include a lot of university stuff, but I didn't want it to get too repetitive for gameplay, because I am also going to be renovating the dorms that are in Brightchester as well, and those are going to have a lot of university stuff in it. So I didn't necessarily limit myself to just university in this pack or in this build, because I wanted it, like I said, to be more immersive. So as far as the landscaping, which I think we're going to be moving on to here pretty soon, I used the university fencing around it to kind of do like a little barrier, and it's not like full, it's just like to add a little bit of architectural detail. And I did like shrubs around it, but I didn't go too crazy in the landscaping because I figured they would probably ruin it anyways if you had a bunch of nice flowers or something. But I also think that like a university, I don't know, gardener or caretaker would take care of that kind of stuff. For some reason the lot doesn't go all the way to that kind of sidewalk area, so I sized up one of the slabs that we have to kind of go off of the lot a little bit, and it doesn't bother me too much. So I added this pretty big deck. Later on I put 2 picnic tables out there and the trash can. Nothing too crazy. I did kind of put a bunch of landscaping on the outside of the fence because I figured that would look more like that's the outside of the lot, and the university kind of like keeps that up to kind of hide the like grossness of the frat that lives here. So that way you like see the landscaping and your eye goes up and you see the architecture, but you don't see anything else. But yeah, like I said, I include this big fire pit here. There's a water balloon area out here. some of the university chairs, some of the random chairs that we got just to make it look. I tried to include a grill out here. I didn't realize that that was one of the restricted items too, so we got rid of that. Yeah, so nothing too crazy going on out here. I figured they would do bonfires, but party, that's about it. So yeah, we're just putting the finishing touches on the build. I am doing some terrain paint. And like I said, go ahead and download this from the gallery, put it in your game if you want to. And we are getting ready to wrap up and go into the screenshots, so I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.